My name is Rosie, and my research topic was wildfires in the United States. I wanted to learn about the future and current policies we have, and the natural benefits of wildfires, and what we can do to prevent and combat wildfires in our future. So, wildfires are natural occurring processes. They're just like rain, they're just like sun, they're going to happen forever, they're going to continue to happen, and even after we die. A lot of plants and animals rely on wildfires because they help clean up the ecosystem and the environment they live in. They help get rid of dead brush, some trees that are dying, plants that are dying, things are taking up space but aren't continuing to live and are more of a detriment than they are a help for the ecosystem. They continue to help make sure the ecosystem is healthy and allows new plants and wildlife to move in and grow and prosper. They help wildlife immensely when it comes to invasive species because invasive species are new to the environment. They're not quite adapted yet. And so when wildfires come through and they're not adapted, they will remove them because they will die out because they're not used to it. While those that have been there for eons and have adapted to the environment, they'll learn how to burrow in the ground, they'll learn how to fly away, run away, or have a shell that helps them adapt to wildfires. Same thing with plants. The invasive species that come in haven't learned how to grow afterwards and get burned out by wildfires, and there actually is pine tree species in California that's pine cone is covered in a casing that the only way to get that casing to open is to have a wildfire come through and melt it away. That allows the seed to then plant itself and grow after wildfire, continuing that lineage of that pine tree. So one of the things that we're doing right now is not a lot. We only have 2 different ways of handling wildfires currently in the United States when it comes to the Bureau of Land Management and the Department of the Interior, where they have suppression and they have fuel management. Those are the only 2 things they do. They only prevent slightly, and they only suppress quite a lot afterwards. And with 90% of our wildfires being human caused and $1 billion being spent in 2021's fiscal year so far, you'd think we would do a better job of being able to maintain our wildfires in the way that they happen, but we do not, sadly. A lot of our wildfires in the United States are caused by humans because we are, probably a lot of things. And also, a lot of our forests in a lot of areas are human-planted forests, or they're not natural and are not maintained. Because of that, they are a fuel and a cesspool for fire when they come through. They just spark up and just give fuel to that fire so they can move on and burn higher and brighter and more dangerous. And because of our suppression technique that we use in the Bureau of Land Management, which is a technique that literally the whole goal is just to stop fires no matter where they start, how they occur, or what they are doing. And yes, it may sound smart in your mind. It's no. We need natural fire cycles to come through the land because it helps the land get used to it and remove dead things and detriments to the environment. So when we don't have natural fire cycles, the ground and the plants and the trees and the animals haven't gotten used to wildfires they would originally. And so when those fires come through, they just scorch the earth because they're not used to it. So things don't get to regrow or come back and populate because the ground is just pretty much dead because everything is just gone because of how high the fire burned and how hot it burned through that area. And this is happening a lot more in the western states. Obviously, when you see the news, you always see California and Arizona and always over there. But other areas of the United States have wildfires too. It's not just a California thing. Florida had some, but in 1998 they learned that prescribed burns are a better way to handle it, so they allowed their private landowners to prescribe burn their lands to what they think best fits that area. Same thing in New Jersey. 2019 they changed their wildfire policy, so those that are on their own private land feel the need to prescribe burn their land, they are allowed to do so, within reason obviously. But it allows people to properly manage their land, so you never hear about New Jersey wildfires or Florida ones, even though they do occur. And like I said, the only 2 policies the Bureau of Land Management has is fire suppression and fuel management. And fuel management is only spent half as much on as suppression, which it would be smarter to spend more money on prevention than it would be after the fact, which they are currently doing, or they're currently not doing, which is kind of a bad thing. And if you look at Bureau of Land Management, most of their land is California and that western area, and because of this, they're always constantly burning because they're not adapting their techniques to the area or to our current climate. And if we don't change this, it's going to get worse. We're going to have rising temperatures, higher deforestation, obviously, because we're not controlling it. They're just raging out of control, and the more they burn, the more pollution they put in the air, the worse the climate change can get, and they're going to cause the health of animals and humans to deteriorate because they live around wildfire-prone areas have a lot of respiratory issues. It's not a good thing. A lot of people die from them. And those seasons of wildfires just get worse and worse every year, and they'll be longer and longer, which will just be disastrous. So some of the techniques that we can use to combat or prevent wildfire before they even start would be quite a few things. One of them would be obviously supporting our emergency personnel, like firefighters, wildland firefighters especially, are our backbone. They are our frontliners. If we don't have them, then we'd have no one to combat. So they have the best techniques, and we need to give them better technology and better pay. Really support them in their endeavor, because if we don't have them, the fires are just going to go out of control and there's no one to fight them. We also need to better educate ourselves on their techniques, so that when they come through and they do prescribe burning, people don't freak out thinking they're burning down the forest. They're obviously knowing what they're doing for their job, and they know what's the best to do for that area. They are the experts in that area. We also need a normal thing, fuel management. If we can get rid of the fuel that starts the fire or makes the fire bigger and last longer, then we can hopefully not have as many outrageous fires. We need foresting, not by removing all the trees, just removing a lot of the foliage that is dead or debris or sitting on the ground that's not really there or thriving for a purpose. Making sure we do prescribed burns, because that is a great way of just remove a lot of the dead brush and foliage. And just making sure people are on alert during those times of year, so if one does start, it doesn't spread fast or ridiculously. And now this has been a thing for eons. Indigenous Americans were some of the first people to really start doing this, because they're better in touch with nature and environment, and they knew what best way to manage these things, but still allowing humans to survive and thrive in those areas. And of course, humans are, again, 90% of the cause, so we need to educate ourselves and our children on the best ways to properly hire fire during summer and the hot months. Campfires, fireworks, cars, other human-made problems are the issue. Our electrical lines are a big issue because foliage grows on them and then they spark and they set right off. Again, making sure fuel isn't near spots or making sure it's very much managed. We can do a lot here. We are the main cause of it. And when it comes to our land use, just like the last couple chapters we talked about, is inefficient. We are expanding into areas that are fire prone and some more natural without having building grade material that can withstand fires, such as fuel. And our zoning laws are all kinds of wacky, putting things in areas where they just should not be, and it disrupts the natural ecosystem and gives fuel to a fire when it moves through those areas, and harms us because we do end up inhaling a lot of smoke, and animals too, when it moves through there. We as humans can do quite a lot in this environment. We have been doing for years, and if we don't change the way we are currently doing our fire policies, it will be a detriment, and it will get worse, and it will not get better unless we make an active method and goal to achieve to make these fires stop. So